Hello and welcome to Readings from Ghost, Ghouls, and Other Horrors, Episode 2, The Ghost in the Radio Works. In the winter of 1937, while packing radios for delivery in the shipping room of the factory at Mitcham, England, two workmen noticed one of the sets burst into flames. The man nearest made an immediate dash for the burning radio, assuming that someone had plugged it in and caused a short circuit. But when he got to the outlet, he saw that nothing was plugged in. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the smoke vanished. As he and his companion stood by, fanning the remaining smoke away with their hands, they heard a hideous cackle. Turning toward the laughter, they saw what looked like a decrepit old gypsy woman clawing the air and grinning toothlessly. Then, before either of the startled men could move, the old woman, like the smoke, disappeared. They were glad that they had both seen the apparition, because each man knew that if he had heard the story from someone else, it would have been too incredible to believe. By making a few discreet inquiries around the plant, they made certain that no one had played a practical joke on them. Then, a few days later, one of the two men, in the company of another fellow employee, saw the ghost return. This time, however, the lights went out, and the flames seemed to rise from the very spot on which the pile of radios had been stacked. But that was not all. Gradually, as their eyes became accustomed to the gloom, they saw a pyre of logs stacked about a branchless tree. Bound to it hand and foot was the same hideous, toothless hag who had appeared before. Again she shrieked out her defiant, insane laughter. As they stood there watching, transfixed with horror, the two men suddenly became aware of the acrid smell of burning wood mingled with the horrible odor of burning flesh. Thoroughly convinced that there was more to the matter than met the eye, the man who had first seen the terrifying apparition began to conduct a personal investigation. What he finally learned was more fantastic than the haunting. 300 years earlier, an old woman of the town, a certain Mother Chisley, had gained the reputation of being a witch and soothsayer. Her most unbelievable predictions had been of strange instruments and devices from which would come forth music and ofttimes voices speaking or singing. The magical funnel-shaped device within the cabinet. Naturally, the townsfolk only laughed at the old woman's words, but shortly afterwards, when she foretold the mysterious death of an entire family, she was held personally responsible, tortured into a false confession, and burned as a witch, on the very spot where the Mitcham radio factory was to stand in the 20th century. Thank you.